At Summerhill School, students and pupils are equal, and the students have the choice to attend lessons if they like.
En Summerhill los estudiantes están en el mismo nivel de derechos que los adultos y pueden elegir si van o no a las clases que hay.
So the reason I came here is to overlook what was happening in the events side of things, because I freelance, so I do my own events. I do my own events, and I wanted to see how it was planned, basically.
Que una de las razones por las que ha venido es que ella viene de forma independiente porque tiene interés a nivel personal y profesional en desarrollar su trabajo como organizadora de eventos y quería ver cómo se organiza un evento como este.
And as well as this, I do music, I sing guitar, piano, self-taught, but this is another thing to add to it.
Ella es autodidacta, le canta la música, toca el piano, la guitarra, canta, pero esto es algo más que añadir a todo ese bagaje.
So I don't have much planned.
No tiene nada así muy organizado.
So for those that have questions, ask, and I can go deeper into why I was sent to Summerhill.
Pero quienes quieran preguntar, ella está dispuesta a hablar más en profundidad de las razones que la llevaron a estar en Summerhill.
So to start it off, I was in state school until I was 12 years old.
Hasta los 12 años Poppy estudió en un colegio público.
And I was diagnosed with ADHD.
Y le diagnosticaron trastorno por déficit de atención e hiperactividad.
Which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. If you don't know. Okay. This meant me going to weekly meetings for about a year for me to be diagnosed.
Esto supuso que tenía que ir cada semana a un médico que diagnosticaba su problema.
And for me personally, I was put on Ritalin, which is a drug to make you calm down.
Y le recetaron Ritalina, que es una droga que sirve para calmarte.
And this made me really thin, so I was very anorexic. It didn't affect me at the time because I was just a kid, but looking back on it, it had a very bad effect on me.
Dice que esto el efecto que tuvo fue que se quedó consumida porque era ya muy delgada y bueno, se quedó flaquísima y que el efecto que ella ha visto era bastante negativo.
And for me personally, and I know it doesn't go with everyone, but I do think that people should check out Summerhill. I advise it greatly, but I know that it's not meant for everybody, because some people like being academic.
Dice que Summerhill para ella ha sido una opción, pero que cree que no todo el mundo a lo mejor piensa lo mismo, ¿no? Entonces conviene informarse bien para saber si realmente es el modelo que se ajusta a lo que tú necesitas.
So before Summerhill I went to 5 different schools, and here I was obviously told what to do, told what to do, that's it, and I didn't like it, like any kid. Being told what to do.
Antes de ir a Summerhill estuvo en 5 colegios diferentes y en todos le habían dicho siempre qué es lo que tenía que hacer en cada momento, ¿no? Y ella como niña, como le pasa a cualquier niño o niña, pues no le gustaba que le dijeran lo que tenía que hacer.
In the state system at the time, there was a thing that they did where they gave red cards out to the special kids. So you showed the card to the teacher and they'd let you go out, which is good in some senses, but bad because you're being kind of picked on out of them all to have a special card.
But what does special mean? What is special?
With problems, anything like ADHD, anything, it can vary.
And you could come out whenever you want.
Yeah, anytime.
Había un sistema en esos colegios que a los niños con problemas les daban una tarjeta roja, entonces esos niños podían salir fuera al patio cuando lo solicitaban.
So for me, I left Summerhill 2 months ago, and most schools you don't really find family, I'd say, because in the state school system you obviously don't see each other every day, but at Summerhill I spent 6 years there, I have family, and it was probably the worst thing I had to do leaving.
Dice que ella salió hace 2 meses de Summerhill y que para ella lo más importante es que era su familia, que esto es algo que no te sueles encontrar nunca en un colegio normal, convencional, pero que para ella Summerhill era eso, su familia.
And going a bit more into Summerhill, obviously, maybe I forgot, did we mention that you don't have to go to lessons?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the children don't have to attend classes, which for me at the start as a 11, 12-year-old girl, I was very wild. I was a horrible, horrible child. My mum hated me, my dad hated me.
Y el hecho de no tener que ir a clases para ella con 11 12 años, que es cuando entró en Summerhill, pues fue fantástico, porque ella tenía una relación muy mala con sus padres la odiaban.
My relationship with my family was very bad. I went to Summerhill. It didn't get much better until maybe year 3 of being there out of the 5.
Hasta que no lleva 3 años en Summerhill, esa relación no empezó a cambiar y a mejorar.
Now me and my mum are best friends. We get on really well. We do everything together. I tell her absolutely everything. There's nothing that I've hidden from her.
Y ahora, en cambio, con su madre pues son las mejores amigas y no le oculta absolutamente nada y le cuenta todo.
Yeah, so that's kind of Summerhill in a nutshell for me. But if anyone has any questions, I can explain more.
Vale, pues es su resumen de Summerhill en pocas palabras, pero si alguien tiene interés, pues ella está dispuesta a explicar lo que haga falta.
I have a question for you. Who decided to send you to this school? You decided?
Yeah.
Did you decide or your parents?
¿Quieres saber quién tomó la decisión de que Poppy fuera a Summerhill?
So my grandmother is a very old English teacher, and through her years of teaching, she found this school, and she brought it upon us when I was in a very hard time in my life, not getting on with anyone.
La abuela de Poppy ha sido profesora, es una señora mayor y bueno, con el problema que tenía Poppy pues investigó y encontró Summerhill y fue la que les habló de la escuela.
So yeah, she gave it the option to me, she gave it to my mother and she gave me the option and I said yes, of course I want to go to Summerhill. Why would you want to sit in a class with people that you don't like and being told what to do? So.
Y fue ella la que se lo contó a la madre de Poppy, la que se lo ofreció a Poppy y Poppy, claro, cuando se lo plantearon, pues lo primero que dijo, pues sí, claro que sí, no quiero estar sentada en una clase con gente con la que no quiero estar y que me estén diciendo constantemente lo que tengo que hacer.
Sorry, excuse me. But were your parents happy during the first or 2 years when the relationship was?
¿Y tus padres estaban contentos durante los primeros 2 o 3 años?
Well, my mother and father split up when I was 2 and my father does not like Summerhill at all. He's very against it because he just doesn't know, and I was an angel around him, so he doesn't know the bad side, whereas my mother got everything. I was running away, I was being a small annoying child, so my dad still to this day doesn't like it, and even when I asked him, you know,
Sí, el padre y la madre de Poppy se separaron cuando ya tenía 2 años, entonces su padre no ha visto realmente los efectos negativos que tuvo la escolarización de Poppy en ella. En cambio su madre sí, y su padre todavía no entiende, no le gusta Summerhill porque no entiende qué es eso.
So when I got this opportunity to come here, I asked him to help me fund it because I'm 17, I can't pay for it, and he was like, I'm not going to pay for you to represent Summerhill, so he kind of, that is him in a nutshell.
Cuando le propusieron venir aquí a dar esta charla, ella le pidió ayuda económica a su padre para poder costear el billete y su padre le dijo que de ninguna manera, que él no iba a contribuir a que ella viniera aquí a hacer propaganda de Summerhill.
But my mother loved it, and to this day she says it's amazing. But the 2 years, yes, I guess it was tricky, but the good thing about Summerhill was you had a really long term and then a really long holidays, so you could be in the term time with all your friends and then go back home, and if you've had enough you can just go back to Summerhill. At the end of it, it's kind of like the nice thing I hold on to, like yes I can go back, now I can't, but I can find another replacement for that.
Lo bueno de Summerhill es que tienes un trimestre largo, pero luego tienes también unas vacaciones muy largas, ¿no? En las que puedes estar con tu familia y siempre tienes la posibilidad de pensar, bueno, ya falta poco y puedo volver a Summerhill. Ahora ya no, porque ya no está allí, pero siempre miraba hacia el inicio del siguiente trimestre.
A quick question, or maybe not a long one. So, the kids your age, let's say between 14 and 17, how many of them are sure or very sure about their talents and about their strengths and weaknesses? Because I got this ideal scenario. I mean, my colleagues have been to Summerhill, my students have visited your school 2 or 3 times, but I haven't.
Yeah.
So I don't have the experience to see it. But so let's say out of 10 kids, teenagers, how many of them know what they're good at, what they like?
Quiere saber, porque ella trabaja también en un colegio donde algunos de sus colegas conocen Summerhill, pero ella no estaba allí personalmente, y quiere saber qué porcentaje de estudiantes de Summerhill entre los 14 y los 17 años tienen cierta seguridad o confianza en cuáles son sus talentos y habilidades.
I don't really think I can answer that question. I don't know how many people, but I do know that the people in that age group are very confident, very mature. They could speak in front of hundreds of people. Me personally, I knew that I wanted what I want to do when I'm older, so events, from only a year ago when I was applying for college. So all of my other friends, they do know what they like, they do know what they're sure of, but they found themselves a lot more than they would have if they'd gone into the state system.
Ella no puede responder a esa pregunta con cifras, sí que sabe que los chicos y chicas de Summerhill de esas edades son muy seguros de sí mismos, tienen mucha confianza en sí mismos, pueden hablar delante de una audiencia de cientos de personas. Para ella, por ejemplo, en concreto, hasta hace un año, pues no tenía la seguridad de que lo que quería hacer era dedicarse a organizar eventos y bueno, puede hablar de eso, de sí misma, pero no de los demás.
No more questions? Okay. I'll keep going. And now you're gonna attend college.
No.
Oh, because you said you were applying.
Well, yeah. So, do you want to translate this college?
Yeah, that's a bit hard because we don't have that.
Okay.
En Inglaterra hay una institución que es el college, que sería donde haces pues el bachillerato antes de entrar a la universidad. Entonces, Poppy ha mencionado que ella se planteaba ir ahí, pero no lo va a hacer al final. Entonces, están preguntando si va a ir a la universidad o no.
In the year before I left, so last year, I was like, college, I have to go to college, I'll get good grades, blah, blah, blah. I'm not an academic person. I'm getting my GCSE results next week, and I'm probably not passed, but I don't care. Because I'm going to do events, I'm going to do what I love doing, and when I got into the outside world after Summerhill, I work now full-time, which is so hard. I've never worked this hard in my life. It's really stressful. So the work life I'm not looking forward to. But that's made me think I don't need to go to college. I might do an apprenticeship, but I'm not really sure. Just do what I want.
No ha decidido que no quiere ir a la universidad. Está empezando a tener un poco de experiencia en lo que es la organización de eventos y se está dando cuenta de que supone muchísimo trabajo, le encanta al mismo tiempo, pero es lo que quiere hacer como profesión y bueno, se ha dado cuenta de que ella tampoco es una persona académica que le interese acumular conocimientos intelectuales y lo que quiere es dedicarse solamente a organizar eventos y aprender en ese terreno.
Pues yo personalmente me agrada escucharte, porque bueno, yo soy de México y desde hace muchos años he leído sobre Summerhill, he leído a Neil, digamos, soy psicoterapeuta y trabajo en la línea de Virgen Reich y el vínculo que tenía con Neil en el proceso de autorregulación en la educación.
He's very happy to be listening to you because he comes from Mexico and he's been working on psychotherapy from a Reichian perspective. And he's heard about Summerhill, he's read Neil's book.
Have you visited Summerhill?
¿Has visitado Summerhill?
No, pero siempre lo tengo como referencia. De hecho, tengo dos hijos, una niña de 12 y otra de 7.
He has never visited Summerhill, but it's always like what he's looking up to. He has 2 kids, one 12 and one 17.
So, to go to the age thing, so you can't apply for Summerhill if you're over 11, just to say, because you then, if you go when you're older than 11, then your mind's set on the state school system of the adults being in power, but if you are younger, then you get used to the fact that adults aren't in power and we're all the same.
Sí, en Summerhill no sé si va por ahí tu pregunta, pero bueno, ya te quiero decir que en Summerhill no se aceptan solicitudes de admisión por encima de los 11 años de edad, porque hasta esa edad todavía es posible que un niño o niña cambie su perspectiva de haberse educado en un sistema tradicional donde los adultos son quienes tienen el poder y quienes te dicen lo que tienes que hacer. A partir de los 11 o 12 años ya eso es muy difícil de cambiar.
Claro, no era una pregunta, ¿no? Quería compartir un poco la experiencia. Ahora vivo en la Sierra de Huelva y ahí tenemos un colectivo donde trabajamos el tema de la educación libre. Entonces, como referencia siempre lo tenía Summerhill.
No, he just wants to say that Summerhill is like what they're looking up to constantly because they have their own project in Huelva.
So if you do have a chance to go to Summerhill, anyone, there's always open days every term on a Friday in the term time. It's really worth it, but I have to say it's not like a Summerhill day because everyone knows there's people coming in. It kind of feels like we're in a zoo, like in these cages, and people are looking in on us. But do definitely go visit if you have the chance to.
Is it every Friday? Or
like
every
no,
week?
like a Friday of a term.
Okay. Cada trimestre, durante un viernes, es posible visitar Summerhill y dice que es una buena oportunidad para conocerlo. Aunque ellos, los estudiantes, se sienten como que viene gente y les está observando y no es lo mismo que verlo de forma cotidiana, pero es una buena oportunidad para saber cómo funciona.
How does it work? Like, do you have a project? Is it like that you come together? Is it like every person has his own project. How do you get together? How are you starting the day?
Okay, so
¿Cómo funciona Summerhill concretando? ¿Cada persona tiene su propio proyecto? ¿Cómo se hace?
okay, so a day layout. This is so long. Okay, so people are voted by the community to do Betty's officer, and each day there are two members of the community, adults or children, who wake you up at 8 o'clock every day except for weekends.
La comunidad tiene que votar a unas personas que son los Betty's Officers, que sería como las personas que se encargan de levantar y acostar al resto. Entonces esas personas te despiertan todos los días at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Todos los días se encargan de que los demás se despierten a las 8.
And you have
Una cosa,
Exceptuando los fines de
ha
semana.
dicho que esas personas pueden ser adultos o niños.
Vale.
and you have to be up by 8:30 or you could be fined. So 10% of your pocket money takes away, or a small job fine, which is just cleaning up outside. Or, yeah.
Entonces te tienes que haber levantado para las 8:30. Si no te has levantado para las 8:30, se te impone una multa, que puede ser que te quiten un porcentaje de tu dinero de bolsillo o que no puedas hacer determinadas actividades.
And there are 9 slots for lessons each day, except for weekends. And we have 2 breaks and a lunch and a supper. So it's just a normal day, but kids can do whatever they like. Most of the time, the youngest kids just play outside. You never see them, obviously, in a lesson, which is fine. It doesn't matter.
Vale, ahí durante el día se divide en 9 bloques que serían académicos, por así decirlo, con 2 descansos y 1 hora para la comida. Entonces los niños pueden elegir qué hacer en esos momentos.
But there's no projects. Like, I can think of one, which was we did a theatre production of Grease. So it was just me and a friend. We were like, let's do Grease. And we're like, okay, let's do it. And it was a massive project. We didn't realise it was going to be that big, but we took a whole year and we got about 20 people together to do that. But we'd never have community projects.
Dice que no se trabaja con proyectos de forma sistemática, sino que, por ejemplo, ella con una amiga pues decidieron hacer un proyecto sobre Grecia y al final acabaron involucrando a otras 20 personas que nunca se imaginaron que iba a convertirse en un proyecto tan grande, ¿no? Y que les llevó muchos meses, pero que eso no es algo regular ni premeditado.
So it's no offer. Nobody's offering you something.
Oh, yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah?
So you have lessons.
Hay lecciones.
So at the start of each term, you have a sheet of maths, English, science, anything that you want, music. If you wanted to play an instrument like violin, they'd get someone in. So you sign up at the start of the term, and then they make the timetable, and you have those lessons, but you don't have to go to them.
Al principio de cada trimestre se te entrega un programa con las actividades que ofrece la escuela. Si tú tienes interés, por ejemplo, en aprender a tocar el violín, se te puede facilitar a alguien que venga a la escuela a enseñarte.
Yeah.
Pero no tienes que ir.
No es obligatorio, no es obligatorio. Y ni siquiera, esto no lo ha dicho Poppy, pero ni siquiera si tú decides que quieres que venga alguien a enseñarte violín, pero tomas 2 clases o 3 y dices ya no quiero seguir, no pasa nada. Puedes interrumpirlo. You can stop if you say you want somebody to come and teach you to play violin. You can say no, I don't want that anymore. Yeah, and it's not going to happen.
Well, no, so with the teachers, with the paying of the money, then you're kind of, because your parents are paying, you will just go to them. You'd never make your parents pay for a whole, I did it once actually. I made my mum pay for it and I never went. But most children wouldn't do that, and they say if you get someone in, then you can't really not go, because then your money's being wasted and their time's being wasted. And people are so mature there, they just understand.
But you can stop it at some point. Say, I don't want
Yeah, you
to
can
come.
stop it at the end of term.
Vale, sí, lo que dice es que si viene un profesor de fuera a darte esa lección de violín, lo normal es que vayas, porque lo están pagando tus padres, no lo está pagando la escuela, sino que es un coste adicional para tu familia. Entonces es muy raro que un niño diga no quiero ir a clase cuando ha venido el profesor, pero sí puedes decir no quiero que venga la semana que viene.
Entonces es un coste individual de la familia. O sea, si yo hago un programa de violín, yo no sé, informática, robótica, se hace un programa para mí, pero mi familia lo paga concretamente.
She wants to know if every activity that you choose outside of the program is something that your family has to pay for. What is included in the Summerhill?
You have the basic lessons that GCSEs you do, which obviously aren't paid for. No lessons paid for unless it's music. So if it's anything that, like guitar, piano, violin, anything musical, we have to pay for. But we do have a recording studio, which we don't have to pay for. But if you have, just say one session is like £20 for an hour, and it's only music people.
Vale. Lo que está incluido en el programa de Summerhill son todas aquellas asignaturas que están programadas en los exámenes oficiales, porque Summerhill es una escuela donde puedes hacer los exámenes oficiales para luego entrar en la universidad. Entonces todo lo que sea matemáticas, ciencias, literatura, etcétera, de lo que te vas a examinar después está incluido en el precio. Pero todo lo que sea actividades musicales, aprender a tocar instrumentos musicales, eso no está incluido. Sería un coste de unas 20 libras por hora. Y tienen un estudio de grabación también.
And also something I forgot to mention, which is ombudsman. So 10 people out of the community are selected in the voting sheet that goes around the school, and these are 10 people that are older that deal with incidents. So say she hit me, I would go and get an ombudsman. I'd go get Diego and say, Diego, can I have an ombudsman case? And they'd sort that out. And then we have weekly meetings, but the ombudsman are for the smaller things and the meetings are for the bigger things.
And the ombudsman are only students?
No, staff can do it as well,
Staff can do it.
but they just tend not to.
De no morir.
No.
Vale, en todo lo que es resolución de conflictos se recurre a una figura que es, por así decirlo, el mediador o la mediadora, ¿no? Que suelen ser alumnos los más antiguos, los más mayores, aunque podrían hacerlo también personas del staff, adultos, pero no suelen hacerlo. Entonces, en caso de un conflicto, si yo le pego una bofetada a Poppy, entonces Poppy va a recurrir a esa mediador o mediadora, que puede ser Diego, y decirle, ha pasado esto, necesitamos que tú medies.
Y después, si es una cosa más grave, va al meeting.
And I think the reason the staff don't necessarily run, they can and they are allowed. I think they like to put the responsibility down to the kids. We have a lot of responsibility, maybe even more. We are running the school. The oldest kids are the ones that are running the school. Yes, we have staff, but they're just there to teach they're our friends as well, but I think there's a group on the top that kind of help the younger ones with lots of things.
Sí, se trata de que sean los propios estudiantes los que aprendan a gestionar pues, sus conflictos y todas las cuestiones que van surgiendo. Entonces, los adultos, el staff, intentan intervenir en la medida de lo posible. Son como tus amigos y están ahí para apoyarte, pero no intervienen, salvo que sea muy necesario.
I understood that you are intern. During the term, you're sleeping there, living there. You go home. Or you go home at the weekends?
No, so you...
¿Quieres saber si los estudiantes son internos o si van a casa a dormir?
So you can go home 3 weekends a term. And we like to set this boundary because if the students are going home every weekend, they just wouldn't get the whole Summerhill experience. So we like to narrow it down and let them only go 3 times.
Si estás interna o interno, puedes irte a casa durante 3 fines de semana cada trimestre. Son 3 meses. Y la idea es limitarlo lo máximo posible porque de otra forma Summerhill deja de ser tu comunidad de referencia.
My question goes in this direction. You say that you are not obliged, you don't have to go to the classes if you don't want to, but you have to stay at the school.
No, so...
No te obligan a ir a clase, a ninguna de las clases, pero sí estás obligada a quedarte en la escuela.
This is my question.
Yeah. No, so we have... It's in the middle of the countryside, so there's not much around. There's a little town, and we can go in it, but it's the worst town ever.
Summerhill está en medio del campo, sí. Summerhill está en medio del campo, entonces, aunque quisieras salir, tampoco hay mucho atractivo, no hay mucho aliciente para salir de la escuela realmente. Es un pueblo muy pequeño y bastante poco interesante.
Okay, I wanted to make a bigger question about it.
Okay.
So, if you don't go to the classes, you can go around, just doing nothing, maybe.
Si no vas a clase y te quedas por ahí, pues, remoloneando, por así decirlo.
And it could happen that a child can do that for 1 month, 2 months in a row. But maybe, my question is, do you feel that there was something wrong with this, or that you missed something, not being obliged to go to the classes?
Le pregunta si un niño o niña se pasa meses sin ir a clase, sin hacer nada, entre comillas, cómo lo ha vivido ella, ¿no? Si siente que es una pérdida de tiempo.
So the question is, wait, there's so many. What was the question?
Yes. One question is what happens with these people, these children who can be just going around without doing nothing.
¿Qué pasa con esos niños que no hacen nada?
And also, do you think you missed something with this
So,
planning?
Y la otra parte es si siente ella que se ha perdido algo por haber seguido en...
The kids walking around doing nothing, that could happen for ages. So I've been there for 5 years and I probably did that for 3 years. Did nothing. I went to a few lessons, but I just wasn't interested in it, so I just chucked it under the carpet. But they can do that, it doesn't matter so much. But going...
Es habitual que durante años, incluso a ella le pasó que durante 2 años enteros no fue a clase prácticamente nada, ¿no? Y esto suele suceder.
And I'm not an academic person at all, and that kind of leads to the question, yes, perhaps I have missed out on getting GCSEs and getting maybe an education because I didn't choose to go to those lessons, but I'd rather... Do you want to do that first?
Ella considera que ella no es una persona muy académica, entonces respondiendo a tu segunda pregunta de si ella siente que se ha perdido algo, pues es posible que se haya perdido algo porque ella decidió no hacer los exámenes oficiales para entrar en la universidad.
But I'd rather not have an education than like knowing myself. I don't care about education at all because I know myself, I know what I want to do, I can stick up for myself, I'm mature I think for my age, and I don't need parents at all. I can live off myself.
Pero ella prefiere haberse podido conocer a sí misma, conocer cuáles son sus fortalezas, adquirir esa confianza en sí misma antes que haber ido a clase, ¿no?
So yeah, perhaps I did miss a few lessons, but I'm here now, so we'll see what happens.
Que a lo mejor sí se perdió unas cuantas lecciones, pero ella sabe qué quiere hacer con su vida.
Are the lessons taught in the same way as they would be in a normal state school?
¿Las lecciones en Summerhill se enseñan de la misma forma que se enseñan en un colegio público?
I'd say no, because there's only like 4 people in a lesson.
No, porque normalmente solo hay como 4 personas en cada clase.
So obviously in state school systems, or even in private schools, they have 30 kids, I think.
Sí, en los colegios públicos normalmente las clases son de unos 30 alumnos.
So the attention you get from this teacher is like amazing because you only have 3 other people in lesson. Max, I'd say 8, but that's pushing it really far. That's really unlikely.
Y en Summerhill hay entre 3 y como máximo 8 personas, 8 alumnos en una clase, con lo cual la atención que recibes de tu profesor o profesora es muchísimo mayor.
But except for that, yes, they are taught in similar ways. I mean, instead of standing up, they sit with us and they just do things with us and hop from one child to the other, helping them with things. PowerPoints, yeah, maybe, but yeah.
Dice que a grandes rasgos sí es similar, que a lo mejor se diferencian que en vez de estar en un aula el profesor o profesora levantado, de pie, frente a los alumnos, pues se sientan todos juntos en un círculo, el profesor se acerca y hace cosas con los estudiantes, pero que a grandes rasgos es lo mismo.
I would like to add something to your question. You understand English well, but yeah.
Ella quiere comentar algo sobre la pregunta de
because that's from what I've seen in my school, that's a very typical question from parents.
Una pregunta que suelen hacer las familias.
And it sounds like very much from a mother, maybe.
Sobre todo las madres.
They come, especially if they have middle school kids. Si tienen alumnos de secundaria, they are very worried that, oh, but my kid, you know, she or he is fed up with the system and she is going to spend months or years doing nothing.
Mi hijo o mi hija está harto del sistema y si va a tu colegio, pues va a pasar meses o años sin hacer nada.
And actually that happens for the first months, based on my experience.
Y eso suele pasar en función de su experiencia en los primeros meses.
And then they kind of like collapse because they cannot face emptiness. That's a word in English,
Yeah.
Luego hay una especie de colapso porque no pueden soportar más ese vacío.
And because also their peers, their friends are either involved in lessons or activities or coming up with their own ideas.
Porque sus compañeros y compañeras están implicados en otras clases y haciendo actividades y generando ideas.
So I was just pulling out here from the internet what they call the 21st century skills. You're familiar with that?
Ella está mirando en internet lo que son las habilidades del siglo XXI, lo que se ha llamado, creo que es la UNESCO, ¿no?
And that's actually what we are focusing on in my school and probably on Summerhill as well.
Y es lo que están utilizando como base en su colegio y quizás en Summerhill.
And I wanted now to put the question to you and ask you, out of these topics that I'm going to mention, if you think during those 3 years of doing nothing, if you were still developing these things.
Entonces quiero preguntarle a Poppy si a lo largo de esos 3 años o 2 años en los que no
And if
hizo
you could
nada,
answer,
en función de esas habilidades del siglo XXI, si hay alguna que ella piensa que desarrolló en ese tiempo.
and I would like to keep it simple as yes, no, or I'm not sure.
So,
So try to remember, like
so
picture
over
yourself.
the 3 years.
Yes, of emptiness.
Okay.
Empty 3 years if you were still developing these things.
Still okay.
Okay? So first one is literacy.
Yes. Even now, like.
Okay, yes.
Lectoescritura, sí.
Numeracy.
Yes.
Aritmética, sí.
Scientific literacy.
Ciencia.
What's that?
Science.
I would probably say some type of scientific understanding of a word. But
Maybe
you're
that's
not sure.
exploration as well. If you're
Exploration.
playing and you're trying to discover things about the world.
I mean, yeah, because when you say like emptiness, like I think my life going to lessons is a lot more empty than my life was when I wasn't going to lessons, because I did so much stuff.
Right.
Para ella, eso del vacío se puede aplicar mejor al tiempo que ha pasado yendo a clase que al tiempo que ha estado fuera de clase.
So all of these things you mentioned might even be now, like numeracy, literacy. I'm rubbish at both of them, so.
Dice que incluso ahora todas esas cosas que está mencionando, ella siente que no se le dan bien.
And technology and computing.
Tecnología y ordenadores.
Well, my like age is at the age where it was kind of technology came in, so it's quite difficult to. I don't really know.
But do you guys have access to?
Yeah, we have
let's say,
computers and things like that.
Tienen ordenadores, aunque para ella quizás todo este énfasis en las TIC pues entró un poco cuando ella ya lleva unos años en Summerhill.
So yeah, I guess.
Creo que sí.
Financial literacy.
Conocimientos de economía.
I mean, this was when I was like 11.
But
so-
you guys worked with money, didn't you? And you got fines
Ah, that's true.
and
Sure.
budgets,
Yes,
probably.
yes, that's
Okay,
true.
so yes. Cultural and civic literacy.
Un momentito, que en
Ah, perdón.
Summerhill, maybe we should talk about pocket money.
Yeah, I can say that now in a minute.
Vale, vamos a hablar ahora de cómo se administran el dinero los estudiantes, cómo aprenden a administrarse su dinero.
So
Cultural and civic literacy.
yeah,
Cultura general y
Y ciudadanía,
ciudadanía.
don't even know what that is.
Okay. Critical thinking.
pensamiento crítico,
Creativity.
creatividad,
Communication.
comunicación,
Most definitely.
Yes.
Collaboration.
Yes.
colaboración,
Curiosity.
curiosidad,
Initiative.
iniciativa,
Yes.
Persistence.
Yes.
perseverancia,
Adaptability.
adaptación,
leadership.
Yes.
And
liderazgo
social and cultural awareness.
Yes.
So
y
out of
conciencia
16,
social y cultural.
you said yes like 15 times.
Yes.
So I don't. When you say so, the kids would be doing nothing. When you say that, I imagine a teenager like all sad and lonely, going around the building for hours, looking, like staring at the ground, and I don't think that happens.
Well,
Well, maybe we all. Sorry.
¿Quieres traducirte tú?
Sí, digo que cuando ella dice lo de que haciendo nada, ¿no? Que se pueden pasar meses haciendo nada, yo me imagino, ¿no? Como a una adolescente triste y solitaria dando vueltas alrededor del edificio mirando al suelo, ¿no? Creo que ahí me queda.
so yeah, like going around like that. I don't know. There's a lot of
And
kids.
of course that happens.
Yeah,
It
of
could
course.
happen once in a while.
Lots of kids do this. Okay, I forgot to explain. There's a massive woods there, and lots of the kids just love going to climb trees and going to listen to music, reading a book. A lot of the time, I don't see any of the kids really. Like they're just climbing, playing.
Summerhill está rodeado de bosques y la mayor parte del tiempo los niños están fuera, jugando, o tocando música, o leyendo.
And also to mention the finances, we get pocket money each week. So for me, because I was older, I got £15 a week, which at the school you can deal with. Obviously outside you wouldn't be able to do that, but just get food or save up or whatever. So whatever age you are, you get a certain amount. And the younger kids have their own shop with the maths teacher, and they do the numeracy themselves. So we teach them in a different way, because the person that wants to buy from this shop has to ask the little kid if they can buy, and then they have to say yes or no, and then they do the maths.
The person who wants to buy from you, if it's a little kid.
Anyone has to ask the little kid to buy because it's their shop, even though the staff helps, like one of the teachers.
So even if the older kids wants to buy, they need to ask the
Yes, the older kid can't just.
And how is that little child chosen?
It's all the younger kids,
All
so
of them.
kids under 10.
So that they practice math.
Yes.
En Summerhill todos los estudiantes reciben una cantidad semanal como dinero de bolsillo. Los más mayores, como ella, recibían 15 libras por semana. Es bastante dinero. Entonces, bueno, o lo ahorras o te lo gastas en cosas que quieres comprar. Y los más pequeños también reciben dinero. Hay una tienda que está gestionada por los alumnos más pequeños, por debajo de 10 años, y la llevan con el profesor de matemáticas. Entonces ahí aprenden a gestionar pues lo que cobras, lo que pagas, todas las operaciones de aritmética.
Yes. Any other questions?
Es muy caro, no sé, las mensualidades en Summerhill.
Is it very expensive, Summerhill?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I think it's expensive, but it's one of the cheapest boarding schools in England.
Es caro, pero si lo comparas con otros colegios internos en Inglaterra, resulta barato.
But it costs a different amount for different ages because the older kids get technology and they get their own room, whereas the younger kids don't get their own plugs and they don't get their own room.
Para los niños más pequeños es más barato porque no tienen acceso a ordenadores, ni tienen enchufes, ni tienen su propia habitación, sino que comparten habitación. Para los más mayores es más caro. También varía en función de they're boarders or they're day pupils.
Yeah, it's all different. Everyone has their different circumstances. Some people might be a single mum with 3 kids. They might help fund them.
Cada persona y cada familia es diferente y hay circunstancias diferentes. Entonces, por ejemplo, una familia que sea una madre que está sola y tiene 3 niños, pues puede haber posibilidades en que la escuela le ayude a financiar eso.
¿Y a partir de qué edad, hablando de la tecnología, los niños tienen acceso o cambian los precios?
When more or less do kids have access to technology?
Okay. So kids can bring their own technology in. They can have whatever they want.
I think he's talking more about the price. When does it change drastically? As you said, the older kids have access to technology.
Oh, okay. 14 to 15, you get plugs, and then 15 to 18, you get your own room. So it changes about 40, but it changes every year as you get older.
A los 14 o 15 años pueden tener su propio enchufe y a partir de ahí ya tienen su propio ordenador y demás, pero cada año cambia. Es que sea algo fijo.
I'm not great with finances, I'm not sure. I've seen the bill for mine, but that's just me. I don't know what other people have.
Dice que no te puede decir así en líneas generales el precio porque sabe lo que le costó a su familia, pero no lo que le costó a otras.
Yo quería preguntar si hay algunas tareas, por ejemplo, que tengan que ver con lo colectivo, que sean obligatorias. El tema de la limpieza, de preparar la comida, ese tipo de tareas, si hay personal para eso o son tareas que se hagan colectivamente de manera obligatoria. Y sobre el tema del dinero, ya que no, bueno, no sé si...
Le pregunto lo primero. She wants to know about all the jobs that are necessary to keep Summerhill clean and tidy and all this. Is it part of the student's job or is it done?
Okay, so we have cleaners that come in, and those cleaners are paid to clean up. But we have communal areas, say for example, the kitchen for my area. We had to keep it clean because it wasn't fair to let the paid people clean up our mess. So if we use something, we have to clean it. We should clean it, we definitely should. And if we don't, then we can be brought up to the meeting.
Vale, sí hay personal de limpieza que viene contratado, pero hay áreas comunes que comparten los estudiantes y profesorado y en esas áreas ellos se encargan de hacer la limpieza ellos mismos, sienten esa responsabilidad.
And for washing up at meal times, at supper, every single day we have kitchen helpers, which are people aged 15 or above who get paid. I think it's £4 an hour, so it's really bad, but it's okay for Summerhill, and you have that job if you're old enough to do it, and you clean everything, and you have to be trained. But that's the only thing that's paid.
Vale, y a partir de los 14 años, todos los estudiantes pueden hacer el trabajo de limpiar los platos después de la cena. Les pagan 4 libras por hora, que no es mucho, pero bueno, es un trabajo que puedes hacer para la comunidad.
As regards food.
Más que una pregunta que hace cuánto costaba la escuela y en ese momento, y de lo que yo tengo apuntado, nos dijeron que eran entre 10.000 y 20.000 euros anuales, dependiendo de la modalidad.
She says that a couple of years ago she went to a talk by Henry and they asked him about costs and fees, and he said it must have been around 10,000 euros. Yeah.
Probably, yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah.
Sí, ella cree que sí, que puede estar ahí. ¿Querías preguntar?
All right. So I got a question about food. It's interesting that when my students visited Summerhill, compared to our the food we get at school, which is homemade warm meal at lunchtime. It's not a boarding school. So compared to our food, Summerhill's food was unhealthy and greasy and all that stuff. Do you also have that vision, or
No. So
like within, if you are?
¿Quieres traducirte tú?
Sí, pregunto que cuando mis alumnos visitaron Summerhill dijeron que lo peor había sido la comida, que era que no era sana y era grasienta, y le pregunto si ella tiene la misma percepción.
So, how many people are at your school?
In total, 120 students.
Okay, so at our school it's I think 80, and the only greasy meal is fish and chips, which I hate. So, you have a lot more people in your school, so I don't know how many people cook, but we have one cook that does it all and the whole day as well. So, I mean, the food's not great, but it's okay. It's okay. Is it good?
It's not bad.
It's okay. It's a lot better. Like, I spent my whole time there complaining, but then I came to the outside world and I have to.
Oh, I know.
I have to do it for myself, and it's actually great.
La pregunta era sobre la calidad de la comida, ¿no? Entonces Poppy le ha preguntado que cuántos alumnos hay en su escuela, ella ha contestado que 120, en Summerhill hay en torno a 80. Y Poppy dice que para ella la única comida grasienta realmente eran el pescado con patatas fritas, ¿no? Que es típicamente muy grasiento, pero que la comida de Summerhill no es mala, en realidad es comida de cantina, pero no es mala. ¿Se me ha olvidado?
Second, sí, que comparado con el mundo exterior.
Sí, eso, que comparado con el mundo exterior no está tan mal.
Second question is, what would you recommend? Okay, because we also got, well, we don't use real money at school. We use like our own money, okay, to buy some special activities or to buy special food or whatever. And when it's this money, my students get it from their community work. And when they get it and it's payday, they keep it in an envelope, and sometimes the money is gone. Right? The money is placed in drawers. So how do you guys deal if you ever have people stealing stuff?
¿Puedes traducirte?
Sí, digo que en mi escuela no tenemos dinero corriente, tenemos una moneda local de nuestra propia escuela que la consiguen por su trabajo comunitario. Entonces el día del pago lo guardan en un sobre, pero a veces esos sobres desaparecen. Y pregunto que cómo hacen en su escuela con los robos.
So in the 5 years I've been there, there's been one stolen thing. So money, £20 was missing from somebody's purse, and it was brought up to the meeting and it was announced. But if you have more than £10, you should give it to the house parent of your area, which is the person that looks after you. Otherwise, it's your own fault for leaving it around.
Was it £20?
Yeah, £20. Like if you leave your wallet on the sofa or something.
Dice que en los 5 años que ya está en Summerhill solo una vez ha ocurrido que alguien haya robado dinero a otra persona y que fueron 20 libras, y que normalmente si tú tienes más de 10 libras que están en tu poder, lo suyo es que se lo des a la persona adulta responsable de tu bloque. Los niños están separados en bloques. Y si no lo haces y ese dinero se queda a la vista de los demás o accesible a los demás, es tu responsabilidad si alguien te lo roba.
Go ahead.
But we do the best we can to find it. So we'll go through the meeting several times, but at the end of the day, if you leave money lying around, it's going to get taken.
No, but if I leave my purse...
Normalmente, a pesar de que sea tu responsabilidad, si te roban el dinero porque lo has dejado a la vista, se hace lo posible para intentar encontrarlo, se lleva a la asamblea para averiguar qué es lo que ha pasado.
So, just to give you like a general vision, my school was set up 5 years ago.
Okay.
So it's a very young school, a very young democracy, and I know, because I observe it, that half of the kids still perceive a difference between adults and children. Digo que mi escuela es joven, fue fundada comenzó su andadura hace 5 años y que la mitad de los niños aún perciben una diferencia entre los adultos y los niños. And I'm saying this because if I leave my cell phone on a table, or my wallet, or whatever, they know it's mine, and nobody's even going to touch it. But if a kid leaves something on a table, you cannot guarantee that it will be there 2 hours later. See where I'm going?
Yeah.
So I was hoping that you could
Yeah.
make a connection maybe, because that's my hypothesis.
Okay.
Estaba diciendo que si yo dejo mi móvil o mi billetera en la mesa, los niños saben que es mío y nadie la va a tocar. Mientras que si una niña o un niño lo deja en la mesa, yo no puedo garantizar que 2 horas después siga ahí. Y yo le estaba diciendo que igual podíamos hacer una conexión entre esto y los robos.
So it will always take anybody a certain amount of time to learn what the system is, and that adults may not be equal. Adults aren't equal to children in whatever circumstances you have. But if you do leave your phone or your wallet on the sofa or in a different room, it just won't get taken at Summerhill. It's so hard to explain. It just doesn't happen because everyone trusts each other. Everyone knows each other. We know each other, everything we know about each other. There's no secrets at Summerhill. Something happens last night, everyone knows about it the next morning. We don't know how, but everything comes out. And no one steals. It's hard because it's a different situation, but I don't know. It just
Probably if my school was a boarding school,
yeah.
That's my dream.
Poppy dice que en Summerhill no se dan habitualmente casos de que una persona le robe algo a otra. Todo el mundo se conoce. Cree que la clave está en que todo el mundo sabe lo que hace todo el mundo. Si ocurre una cosa por la noche, al día siguiente todo el mundo lo va a saber en la comunidad, y ese conocerse todos pues hace que este tipo de sucesos pues sean bastante poco frecuentes.
Desde tu posición de adolescente, ¿cómo vivís la sexualidad en Summerhill?
How do you live sexuality in Summerhill?
Y voy a intentar canalizar a lo mejor la respuesta. Lo planteo más desde el punto de vista de si tenéis conductores o profesores o charlas que os orienten o os hagan crecer de una manera pues, madura y natural y libre en la sexualidad.
Do you get help from adults or do you get talks?
Okay, so it's like not allowed, like sex is not allowed at Summerhill because it's a school. You have to take things very seriously because Summerhill is obviously, I guess, on edge a lot of the time anyway, so it's just, you're not allowed to. But boys and girls do share the building when they're older.
Vale, en Summerhill el sexo no está permitido, las relaciones sexuales no están permitidas. Los alumnos sí comparten espacios, pero Summerhill es una escuela y sobre todo tiene que mantener la legalidad. En Inglaterra el sexo entre menores de 16 años es ilegal.
Estamos hablando hasta 17 años, ¿no? Solamente.
Bueno, hay algunos de 18. There are 18-year-olds as well in Summerhill sometimes.
Unlikely, but sometimes they leave when they've just turned 18.
Sí, el tope sería cuando cumples 18. But he was asking
but also,
if you get some kind of assistance.
Okay,
to learn about sex.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
healthy way.
We have sex education talks, I guess, each term, where you even have young kids, so like 11, 10-year-olds in a different group to all of the older kids, and we get given out condoms and papers and loads of different things that you can use or whatever, and they like demonstrate and stuff like that, like on a banana or something. But yeah, they definitely give you some good advice.
Dice que sí, que hay charlas sobre sexualidad que incluso pueden ir niños de 11 años, aunque no estarían en el mismo grupo que los niños más mayores, y que se habla de una forma bastante natural, incluso se reparten materiales como condones, por ejemplo, se enseña cómo se usan.
I want to add something to... Sí, Vicente, ¿no?
Y una pregunta, ¿y qué pasa si, como no hay secretos, ¿sabes qué? Si se descubre la relación sexual, ¿qué se hace?
Wait.
No, this is interesting.
Okay.
He's asking, as you mentioned that there are no secrets in Summerhill, what happens if somebody has sex with somebody else and everybody knows about it? That's a tricky question.
It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. I don't know. It doesn't happen. It's
The
not
sex part or the knowing about it?
both of them. Both, yeah, but.
Es una pregunta un poco incómoda. Ella dice que no es un caso que se dé.
Yeah, it's not allowed.
No se permite el sexo en
I wanted to add something to what Vicente said and also this guy. In my school, inspired by that policy, actually, we have a rule which is, and it was a rule imposed by the direction board, and it says that kissing on the mouth and beyond that it's not allowed. Like, why? Because they all started to do this kissing game, and we caught them and we explained them. Yes, but these, like, if you are to set a limit, where is the limit? Like, what is sex? You know.
So okay.
So we decided. Sí, ahora me traduzco. We decided that we, as directors of the school, we would set the limit. This is the limit: no kissing on the mouth, and definitely nothing beyond that.
How old are the kids?
Doesn't matter. Well, they were teenagers.
Okay.
That doesn't matter. So kissing on the mouth is not allowed, and anything beyond that, masturbation or having any other type of sexual activity. And we explained it to them, as probably your teachers did at one point. Like, look, this is a very serious thing, and we cannot, as a school, we cannot take any single risk. And we said, as you love your school, you want the school to stay open and to have no problems with legal issues, right? So they all understood, and like for them it was very easy. Like, whatever you do at home with your friends or with whoever, that's not my business. Great that you explore yourself, but not at school.
Okay.
Voy a traducir. Digo que en mi escuela, inspirados un poco por esto que dice ella de Summerhill, tenemos una regla que es impuesta desde el equipo directivo, que es besarse en la boca, y todo lo que sea más allá en la sexualidad no está permitido, simplemente porque nos pone como institución en un riesgo muy alto. Entonces se les explica a los niños y se les dice que bueno, que como aman su escuela y quieren que la escuela siga abierta, no podemos correr ningún tipo de riesgo. So that's a trick. I mean, I know it's very strict.
Yeah, it's very strict.
Yeah, it is, and very artificial.
Okay.
But we
have to. Okay, so
at this point
where
we
is your
have
school?
Near Madrid,
Okay.
northern Madrid.
Because obviously it's hard for me to answer, like even say anything, because obviously I don't know. I'd say it's strict, but you said they were teenagers. Like, even so, I thought you were talking about 5-year-olds.
No,
like that's
no. I mean 5 years older.
Because I think that. I don't know.
No, for elementary, for primary school.
A Poppy le parece muy estricta esa norma, ¿no? En un principio pensó que ella se refería a niños de 5 años y luego ha visto que son adolescentes, entonces le parece muy rígido eso.
¿Qué cosas te han gustado más y qué cosas te han gustado menos de tu experiencia por Summerhill?
What did you like best and less about it?
Critical question.
I hate this question. There's so many.
No le gusta nada esa.
Okay, 2. I'm doing 2. The 2 best things I say: living in a community. So living in a community and having them as your family all the time.
Vivir en una comunidad y que sea tu familia todo el tiempo.
And maybe that's 1. Yeah, I've got 1. The worst thing is maybe not having the same experiences as other kids do in state school, because obviously at boarding school you're always there, and in the holidays you go back, your friends have kind of gone off a bit at home. So I think it's hard to balance it. I was fine with it because I kept those friends, but I say that's one of the worst things.
Para ella quizás lo peor ha sido el ser interna, el no poder hacer las mismas cosas que hacían sus amigos fuera de Summerhill, y cuando iban vacaciones pues se encontraba con que sus amigos estaban haciendo cosas diferentes de las que ella podía hacer, y eso quizás sea lo peor.
Gracias.
A mí me gustaría preguntarte cuáles han sido las experiencias con tus compañeros que tienen diversidad funcional, síndrome de Down.
Did you have any friends in Summerhill, or the students who had any kind of psychological or functional problems?
So I forgot to explain at this point, when you go to Summerhill, that label of ADHD, it's still there in a box, but it kind of gets taken away, so people don't know about it. It's not a public thing unless I would want to tell anybody. I know of people that have had different things. We've had someone with autism who came for however many years, and that is completely fine, but other than that, I'm not sure.
And people on the insurance for example, if it's kind of physical capacity?
No, unless they broke their arm, which happened.
But is that because Summerhill has some kind of policy?
No.
Nothing. So someone in a wheelchair comes to Summerhill?
Yeah, the circumstances depend every time. Yeah.
Vale, dice que cualquier etiqueta que te pongan, trastorno por déficit de atención, hiperactividad, etcétera, eso en Summerhill desaparece, no se tiene en cuenta. Y le he preguntado sobre el tema de la diversidad funcional, me decía que no se ha dado el caso de que hubiera nadie pues, que fuera en silla de ruedas, por ejemplo, que no es que Summerhill no los aceptara, sino que sencillamente no se ha dado la circunstancia.
Yo sé que había, si fuera un autista, ¿no?
Sí, bueno, eso, todos los trastornos que etiquetamos a los niños con ellos en el resto de la comunidad educativa, ¿no? Autismo, TDAH y demás, en Summerhill no se aplican.
Cool. No more questions?
¿Y qué eras de las alumnas buenas o de las chungas?
They want to know if you were a good student or a bad student.
Ooh. What sense? Like education or social activities?
¿En qué sentido? ¿En el educativo más tradicional o social?
Ya te veo que estupendamente, no sé, en el que ella quiera.
She can tell that socially you're very, very proficient. So whatever you want to talk about.
I'm okay, I think. Yeah. I don't really know how to answer that.
Dice que no sabe muy bien cómo responder, que ya dice que está bien.
Yeah. Average.
Medio, la media, en la media.
Yeah. Cool, I think we're done.
Si nadie más tiene preguntas, para ir terminando.
Cool. You know?